Well, it looks like it's right on the buzzer at 8:30, so good morning. I'm Shayna. This is going to be a core focus class. Last week we did more of a focus on Pilates. We'll do a little bit of that to just get prepped, but we're going to focus on a little bit more dynamic core, which means a little bit more movement, adding in a little bit of balance. So be prepared to get moving just a little bit today. For the most part, we'll stick to half hour, 45 minutes. We'll see how long I last. So anyways, I invite you to start just on your back. We'll start with just a little bit of breath work and ab prep. So you can go ahead and just lie down for a moment. And we'll just get in tune with our bodies. Plus it just feels good to level out the spine. So I encourage you to bend your knees. Keep your feet flat on the floor, just resting. And I want you to level off your pelvis. So take the heels of your hands, place them on either hip bone, and I want you to take your thumbs together just across underneath your belly button, and then your middle fingers just over the pubic bone region. So you make like this nice little triangle shape. Okay, we're gonna move this triangle. Right now it should be relatively flat or like parallel to the ceiling or parallel to the floor. And we're going to take and we're going to tilt the thumbs towards you. So you're going to imprint that belly button down towards your backbone, tipping those thumbs towards you. So we're creating an anterior pelvic tilt. And then we're going to go the other way. Sorry, posterior pelvic tilt, and then rotate the anterior. So it'll come back to neutral. And then tilt your middle fingers down as far away from you as you can. So now we have that anterior. So your back is almost like it's arching a little bit. Good. Now we're going to connect our breath with that. So inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, imprint lower back down to the ground. Thumbs towards you. Inhale to release. Exhale, go the other way. Middle fingers down away from you. Thumbs tipped up. Backs arch. Good. Back to neutral. Start to do that with your breath at your own pace. Just go one way and then the other way. So a little back and forth. Just kind of prepping the pelvis. Finding a nice neutral position back in the middle. Okay, because whenever we have our neutral, it's not quite as neutral as we think it is. We always carry a little bit of either anterior or posterior tilt. I know I do. I'm very much a posterior tilt person, so I tuck under profusely, which can cause lower back pain. So we want to focus on doing that extension, that anterior tilt away from you. So that's those middle fingers. So tilting away from you with those middle fingers. All right, let's find neutral again. Now you can relax the fingers, but make sure the heels of the hands are heavy. This is something you may not have done before. We're gonna go side to side. So you're gonna push your right hip bone down into the floor, and your left hip bone is gonna kind of tilt up a little bit. And then you'll switch. So left hip bone down, right hip bone kind of tilted up. So it's just like a teeter-totter, kind of going side to side. So moving that at your own pace, again, from side to side. Now, because this also is not very common for people to do, it's good to have that hand connection in. So you can use the hands to kind of help press down, because sometimes those hips don't want to do that. And if you encounter any discomfort, just don't go as far or just eliminate it completely. But we're working on mobilizing some muscles in our pelvic region that's aren't usually used a whole lot. That side to side. Good. Do one more from side to side. And then come find that neutral again. Now you're going to take your hands to the sides of your hips. So fingers around the front, thumbs around the back. And you're going to take and you're going to shift up and down. So your right hip is going to come up towards your right shoulder, towards your right ribs, and the left hip is going to kind of tilt down towards your left heel. And then we reverse. So it's this little kind of sway back and forth. Getting you ready for Zumba later. So just a little swish, swish, swish. Good. So it's just side to side. Again, moving lower back. This might actually feel pretty good. Kind of helps to lengthen the side of the waist. Now it's not that we're moving, so the pelvis is neutral. We're just shifting from right to left, so we're not going up or down on this one. So just kind of moving right to left on this one, so that horizontal plane stays put.
Okay, now comes the tricky part. Do one more time to each. Come back and find your neutral. Now take your middle finger and thumbs and connect them together again. You're going to pretend you have a clock on your pelvis. So your thumbs are your 12 o'clock, middle fingers are your 6 o'clock, right heel of the hand is your 3 o'clock, left heel of the hand is your 9 o'clock. Okay? Or whatever 3 or 9 you want to assign. But either way, you're 12 o'clock. So pushing the thumbs down into the ground, pushing that lower back into the ground. Head over to the 3, yup. Go down towards the 6, over to the 9. Oh, that one's a tricky one. And then back to your 12 o'clock. Now reverse. So we're just taking our things, our points that we created earlier, and now we're just connecting them. And it might be a circular shape, or it might be kind of a static shape, so you find each point as it is. Or if you want to attempt it, you can try to make it more of a rounded circle. So it's more of a smooth clock versus just hitting those points. So if you want to try a couple of those, oh, notice how good your lower back is starting to feel, yeah? Good, we'll do one more in each direction here. And then we're going to get off of this. All right, relax your arms down, relax your hands down. I want you to slide your feet a little closer to your butt. Let's take that tilt, so push your navel down into the ground. But as you do that, make sure it comes from the pelvis now, still not the legs yet. So push the pelvis in and then release. Push the pelvis in and then release. I want you to get the abs to do it first, and then we'll add the legs in. One more time with just the abs, so push the pelvis down. Now push your heels down, squeeze your backside, and lift, 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 slowly lifting. Okay, doesn't have to be a fast lift. We'll do the fast lifts in a moment. Okay, because like I said, we're getting dynamic work in as well, but we're gonna focus on a little isolation first. Once you get here, squeeze your butt hard, push into all parts of your feet, fan your toes out, and press the knees forward away from you to lengthen your back. Now, as you do that, the shoulders may have crept up, so walk those shoulders down towards your heels. Yeah, that feels better on the chest. So big breath in, flare those ribs wide, maybe palms up. Maybe that allows you to climb a little higher. Go as high as you want to. That feels fantastic. And then we're just going to roll that right back down. Okay, so that was our prep. Now we're going to actually get into the work. Okay, so imprint that lower back down and then push up. Inhale. Exhale, come down. Do that again. Tilt. Inhale, push up. Exhale, come down. Or if you'd like to, let's reverse the breath. So inhale to tilt. Exhale, push up. Inhale, down. Exhale, push. So we're using our exhale, that forceful output. If you remember from last week, we breathe in through the nose and we breathe out of the mouth. So if you want to incorporate that, you can. Otherwise, just breathe however you're able to. So it's a big squeeze of your butt. Again, at your own pace here. Okay, so we're getting a little posterior chain. If you want to, push your arms down, so palms down. Push the shoulders down, and that will help out your hips as you come up. So we're going to get into our upper shoulders as well. Because again, our core involves more than just our abs, our posterior chain, our glutes. They help to stabilize our lower half, which is a part of your core. So let's do 3 more like this, and then your shoulder girdle as well. Yeah, your shoulder girdle helps to keep your upper body stable. So we're going to focus on a little bit of thoracic bridging. So relax your legs. You can even let them go straight out. Now again, some of this might be new to you, some of it might be old hat, so the bridges may have been something you've done before. Thoracic bridge, however, you may not have experienced. So this is going to focus on your shoulders. So I want you to take your elbows, pin them in towards the sides of your ribs so the elbows are pressing into the ground. Now I want you to clench your fists as hard as you can. Relax your legs. Now all I want you to do is drive the elbows as hard as you can into the ground. And you're going to feel this little lift of your chest. Maybe not much to start. And then go ahead and release. Okay, let's try that again. Push the elbows down hard, 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 hard. And your back is going to start to arch and lift up. I'm going to shift myself on my mat here. So we're gonna start to do that. Okay, so if you can't lift your chest very high, again, that's okay. So we're pushing those elbows down, and you're gonna feel this nice little squeeze between your shoulder blades. So big inhale, push the chest up. The ribs are gonna flare to the side. Exhale, release. Inhale, press up. Exhale, release. Now as you do this, you might be able to get a little higher up and a little higher up, but don't use your legs. Don't use your legs. Yeah, let the legs relax. Big inhale, push all the way up. Oh, that feels so good for the back. Big breath in, and again, for some of you, you might only get a millimeter off of the ground. For some of you, you might be able to push your chest all the way up. My shoulders are tired today, so they're not going there quite so much, and my ponytail's sticking, but you just go as high as you can. Squeeze that upper back, squeeze those mid-shoulder blades. Those are all of your posture muscles. If you've ever done a cobra pose from yoga, this is that, just in a different position. Okay, that's all it is a back extension. Yep, you can do it from many different positions. So we'll try 2 more here. Good, and then we actually will get into firing up our abs just a little bit. Good. Oh, we needed to get our body prepped first. Get you ready for this guy. Grab your knees, release your back just a little bit. Take a couple rolls through your spine. If you want to take a little rock and roll, a little rolling like a ball from last week, you could do that. So making sure that we're rounding the back, pressing the thighs into the hands, pulling the hands back into the thighs. Inhale, roll back. Exhale, rolling forward. Let's take 1 more and then find our way all the way up and around onto our sit bones. Okay, so we're going to start with actually, again, a yoga pose, but we turn this into Pilates by adding a little bit of dynamic with it. So feet will start on the ground. You can choose to lift them or not. Okay, it's going to start with our half roll back. So we're sitting up really, really tall. You're going to take your lower spine and you're going to round it out. So it's like you're trying to curl in. So we're taking that belly button and pressing it back once again. Okay, if you feel like it, you can lift your feet. This is a modification of a boat pose. Okay, but we're going to take this into a canoe. So what is canoe? It is a very low position. Okay, so we're coming down, kind of hollowing out, picturing that long canoe shape. So the arms are surging towards the feet are pushing away from the hands, and your belly and your back is pressing into the ground. Now, can you sit back up? Come back to your boat. Oh, yes. Anytime you need to grab hold, feel free to do that. Anytime you need to rest, feel free to do that. But we're going to try that again with our breath. So we're going to inhale and roll it down to our canoe, kind of a tweak on a teaser pose. If you've done Pilates before, our teasers. We're going to take our breath and we're going to squeeze and lift back up. Try to bring your ribs closer to your thighs. Good, big inhale. Using that exhale to push those toes away. Fingers reaching out. Relax your neck. Good, squeeze and come back up. We're trying 3 more of these. I know you can do it. Push back. Push those toes out. Good. And if the knees pretend as if the knees are lifting up towards the ceiling. Chest lifting up towards the ceiling. We don't have to go fast. Sometimes the slower we go, the better it is. Knees lifting, collarbone lifting. Up, 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 up. Yeah, that'll help get you up. 1 more time. Big inhale. Imprint that lower back. Rounded C shape. Big inhale, and then the big exhale, everything back up. 1 more time. Good, get as tall as you can. Grab, lift again, and then release. Soles of the feet together. Hey, are you warm now? Woo! All right, sit up tall. All right, so moving into some dynamic work. All right, so we got our back prepped, our abs prepped. Now let's get our full body. Gotta roll up the sleeves for this one. I have my handy timer with me. We are gonna get a full minute of a plank pose today. I know you're just so excited about that. I'm gonna grab a quick drink of water here. If you need to, go ahead. All right, so I have my handy dandy timer here.
And you're gonna hear a bell, I think, to start. Well, for sure you'll hear a bell to end. But we're gonna go for 1 whole minute, and I knew you can do it. So you're gonna take your fists together, forearms together, and you can be on your knees or on your toes. I'm gonna be turning just a little bit here so you can see, because I want to get you into a really solid plank. All right, we're gonna start our timer in 3, 2, and begin. There we go. Okay, sweet, we got our timer going. So elbows underneath shoulders, push the ground away, and you can remain on the knees, or you can curl those toes under, firm up through your thigh bones, push down through the fists. I know you can't see my head too much, but that's okay. You don't need to see my head, you need to see my back. Oftentimes what happens is that people push up and they kind of round into their shoulders. I want you to drop your shoulder blades down towards your hips, lengthen through the crown of the head, lift up through the roots of your thighs, and press back through your heels. Yes, we're really on firm toes, firm feet. Now, can you draw your armpits closer together? You've only got 15 seconds. This minute is flying by. Oh yeah, piece of cake, which means we're probably gonna do it later too. Nah, we'll be nice. All right, hang on, 5 seconds. Oh, feeling those abs, yes. There's our buzzer, beautiful. Okay, so that was your minute, congratulations. Now everything else should be easy, piece of cake, right? Okay, we're gonna try a little bit of dynamic movement with this. So you're gonna come up to hands and knees. Now we've done the first one before. I'm sure you have. Again, if you've done yoga, you've done the first one before. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's brace the belly so our back does not arch. And we're gonna take opposite arm, opposite leg. Simple, simple, simple pointer pose. Let me rephrase that. I shouldn't say simple. It's not simple. It's a challenge. Keep the balance. Okay, thumb is up, toes are pointed. Back is straight, so again, we're not tilting that pelvis. I don't know if you saw that, but we're not tilting that pelvis. So the back is straight, abs lifting, and we're reaching long through fingers, long through toes. Take one more deep breath. And go ahead and set that side down, and let's switch to the other side. So negotiating the balance here. Good. Try to lengthen through the sides of the waist, relaxing the neck. And if you have a mirror, or even if you don't, just try to pretend as if your hips are level. If you do have a mirror, you can kind of check out and see if those hips are level. Otherwise, just do your back to use your mind to level out your back as much as possible. Good, take one more big long breath here. Surge out energy through those fingers, through those toes, and then go ahead and release. Okay, so we're gonna add a couple of things to this. We'll first add our tucks. So we're gonna take that first side, okay, so level out the back. Pretend there's a rope attached to your hands and a cable attached to your foot, your ankle. Okay, you're gonna try to connect those together. So as if you've got pulleys on those arms and legs. So you're gonna pull, 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 elbow to knee, pull those cables in, and then push those cables back out. You're gonna do 7 more like that. So 7, push out, cables in, 6, push out, squeeze in, 5, push out, exhale, 4, inhale, 3, good. Last 2 times. Awesome, connecting that breath, really pushing down through that other hand, hold. Oh, we're not done yet. Holding out here. Take arm and leg to the diagonal. Yes, a little further away. Now come back to center. Good, do that again. Inhale wide. Exhale back to center. Good, breathe in and lengthen out. Exhale, squeeze in. Do you feel your inner thighs? Lengthen the neck, stable the hips. Just 3 to go. Hang on. 3. Push in. Last 2. Oh goodness, so good, and you know you get to do it on the other side. Awesome, go ahead and release. If you need to, shake that other wrist out, shake that other leg out if you need to. Okay, let's find our balance. So hug up through the spine, lengthen out arm and leg. Again, pretending that you've got those cables attached to hands, so make that fist if you need to. pushing out through the fingers. Cable is attached to the toes. All right, so there's tension on those cables. So we're not just imagining that there's ropes there. There's tension on those cables. Okay, so when you pull in, there's tension. Create that tension, curl and round. And then inhale, push and tension away. Good, 7. Inhale, beautiful, 6. So good, 5. Pushing and lengthening, reaching through the back of the neck. Oh, last 3, can you point your toes a little bit more as those legs extend all the way back? Last 2. Goodness, goodness. One more time. I have to move myself because I'm hitting my TV back there. So I'm going to just shift a little bit for our diagonal. So holding that arm, holding that leg up. Move out to the diagonal. Yeah, as far as you can go. Test your balance. And then come back to center. Squeeze in. Inhale away. Push down to the opposite hand. Exhale to close. Inhale wide. Hold that navel in tight. Don't let that go. Don't let that go. Thumb up, toes pointed. 2 more. Good. Last one here. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Hands down. Take a little cat. And a little cow. So nice. All right. Now we're going to be in this position a little bit. So we're going to take something else next. So if you have wrist issues, you can just roll out your wrists for a second. If you have hand weights, sometimes hand weights underneath the wrist will help support, because sometimes when we put our hands flat on the ground, it just creates that harsh angle. But if you've got a hand weight under your hand, it puts the wrist at a more neutral angle. So if you have that and if you need that, feel free to do that. Okay, we're going to work on just a little bit more here in this position. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. This time you're going to curl your toes under. Okay, we're not moving the arms just yet. We're just going to lift the knees. So curl your toes under, firm up your belly, squeeze in. See if you can pick up your knees. 1 inch. Yeah, not far, just 1 inch. So squeeze tight. This is what's known as our bear position. Yeah. Good. Go ahead and bring those knees back down. So when you do that, you're going to feel your shoulders again. So really push down into the ground. Spread all 10 fingers out really, really wide. Take a big breath in. And exhale. Push and lift those knees just 1 inch. Yeah, they don't have to lift high. But when you do this, don't stick your butt in there, okay? Keep that butt down. Keep your back flat. And if you can, squeeze in through those inner pelvic muscles to help you stabilize. Good, yeah, those a little longer. Bring the knees down. Again, shake the wrists out if you need to. We're gonna do that one more time by itself, and then we're gonna try to do arm and leg. We're getting really tricky today. So push down into those arms, take a big breath in, exhale, lifting those knees up. Good, can you push into all 10 fingertips? Not just the fingers, the fingertips. Good. Feel your quads engage. One more big breath in. And exhale to release. Okay, if the knees lifted are too much, you can always ditch that. But we're gonna try, let's just practice hand to opposite shoulder. Okay, that's a simple movement. But we're gonna try that with our knees lifted. You think we can? I think you can. I think we can. Okay, so let's get ourselves set here first. So push down into the ground. We're only gonna do 2 of these, okay? So big breath in, push the ground away, lift the knees up. Okay, if you need to, you can even take the feet a little wider, but try to touch opposite shoulder. Oh, switch. Now, if your body shifts as you do that, that's normal, but try to keep yourself straight down the center. Good. And if you need to, you can even bring the hands a little closer together, so that way they don't have to tap nearly as far away. Good. Do one more time to each side. If this feels good here, you can stay here. Otherwise, go ahead and straighten those legs out. You think we can do it from here? Oh, just the shoulder taps. Right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder. Good. Breathe. Oh, sneaky little plank again. I didn't tell you that, did I? It's okay to bring those knees down. It's okay to come back to that bear crawl. You've got 10 more seconds. Hold on. Big breath in, big breath out. Good. One more to each shoulder. How about? Yeah.
Awesome. Knees down, stretch. Big breath in. Oh, that's a nice release there. All right, good news. You deserve to come on.
I'm sorry. That was crazy. Okay. Hi, TJ. Good, I can see people who've joined. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna do just a few more things. We're gonna focus on our obliques and rotational muscles. So go ahead and lay back once again. Yeah, we'll get off those hands, get off those wrists. You're gonna spread your arms as wide as you can. Okay, we're gonna lift our knees into a tabletop position. You can always bring the feet back down to the ground as well. But we're gonna take and tip the knees from right to left. So you're gonna tip the knees to the right. Now they're not going all the way down. They're only going as far as you can keep your shoulder blades down. So press that left shoulder down and then squeeze your abs to pull the legs back to your center and switch over to that left side. So push your right shoulder down now and then squeeze to lift back in. Good, so it's called the windshield wiper. So we're just going from side to side. Pin the knees together and anchor your shoulders into the ground, okay? Maybe palms up if you're feeling confident. And try to relax the neck. Let's go with our breath. So inhale over to one side, exhaling back to center. Inhale over to the other side, exhale back to center. Now if you think this is easy, go ahead and straighten those legs. If it's too intense, bring the toes to the ground. But you are dictating how far you go. Okay, rotational movement through our core. Feels amazing. Okay, this works our sling muscles. They help with sports. You know, we're not really playing too many sports right now, but if you happen to play maybe racquetball or pickleball, once we get back into it, you're going to be so good at it. If you stick with doing some windshield wipers, that rotational movement is going to help so much with your backhand and those pickleball swings or those racquetball or tennis even. Good. Breathe in and breathe out. One more to each side. Good. All right. From here, knees rest. Bring them in. Let's come back to a classic Pilates exercise. And then we're going to connect the two together. So we're going to take toes to the ceiling. We did our single leg stretch last week with bent knees. Now we're going to try it this week with straight legs. So you're going to take one leg down towards the floor. You're going to grab behind the knee of the other leg, or if you want to, you can reach up and grab behind the ankle. Big breath in. Big breath out, switch legs. Relax the shoulders down. You're just lovingly holding that leg. Maybe a gentle pull towards you. Good. If you're feeling ready to do that more, if your legs are loose and ready to go, you can take that a little quicker. If you need to, just keep it slow, especially if you've got tight hamstrings. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lengthen even more. Toes up and toes out. So there's energy surging from both ends, trying to create a 90-degree angle in the hips, in the legs. Good. So this is our scissor leg. We did our windshield wipers. We're going to try to connect those two together, but we're going to get a few more in here. Head down anytime you need. We're going for 4, for 3, for 2, the last one. Hopefully you're even. And then go ahead and rest back down once again. All right, arms are gonna come wide. We're gonna put those two movements together. So if you wanna just watch first, you can. This one's kind of a tricky one. We're gonna take the legs straight up and you're gonna scissor your legs as you twist. So what does that look like? It looks like this. So you're gonna scissor. Okay, so one leg, your top leg is going out to the side, bottom leg is going long in the scissor. So if you were to just come back to center, you would have your scissor, okay? And then both legs come up, and then you switch. Top leg across, bottom leg out. Squeeze and press your shoulders down so we get that rotational move, and then back up to the center. All right, but really, it's going to go a little bit quicker, so we're going to do that with our breath. So we're going to inhale, exhale, inhale,
Exhale. Now again, you're only going so far that you can maintain control through your shoulders. Another option for this, bend the knees, okay? So you don't have to go that far, or you could just always come back to the regular windshield wipers. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. Try to relax the neck. Maybe palms up to help assist that relaxation. Yeah. Good. Try 4 more, 2 to each side. A little snappiness through our waistline. Just a different way to work your love handles. Awesome. Knees in. Relax. Roll the shoulders. Let's take a little stretch while we're here. Go ahead and reach up. Grab towards the feet. Getting a little happy baby in. Because that feels wonderful. All right. We're going to take and make our way all the way up to standing. We're just going to do a couple more things here to focus on our dynamic balance today. So again, if you need to grab a little sip of water, go ahead. All right. I've got my mat in the way, but I'm actually going to move my mat because it's a little too squishy. So it's hard to balance on that. Hopefully you can see standing up. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna start with a widened foot position. Okay, we're gonna start with just some side to side, so fingers up to temples. We're gonna switch from right side to left side. So we're gonna focus a little bit more on our love handles for a moment. Good enough. If you don't want your arms up, you can always bring your arms down. Just kind of reach them for the back of your thighs. You're focusing though on your rib cage, so you're not moving your hips while you're here. So if you don't want to even like bend your knees at all, you could do this from this position, and so that way your hips really don't move. Okay, but if you want a little bit of leg work today, hey, why not? Because again, your legs help to support your core. If you want more, reach that arm up. So we lengthen one side and contract the other. Yeah, I said it was gonna get your heart rate moving a little bit. Breathe in, stretch up, helps to lengthen, reaching away as you crunch down. Maybe you're low enough that you touch the back of your ankle. I have long arms, that helps. Breathe in, breathe out. We're going for 8, 7, 6, 5, almost there. Hang on. Last one to each side. Hopefully you're equal on both sides. Beautiful. Go ahead and shake those legs out. All right. Doing this in a more dynamic fashion. I don't know, that seemed like it was dynamic, right? But a little bit more dynamic. So this one, fingers to temples, squat down. So we're gonna take one squat, and then as we take that crunch now you're gonna lift that knee and reach towards the back of your ankle. And then you switch. So we squat and then lift, squat and then lift. So now it makes it dynamic because we're adding that dynamic balance coming up off the ground. So there's more muscles having to react, working your core harder, breath going with you, arms wide, elbows wide, open up that chest. Again, baby squat if you need it. Maybe you're just lifting those knees. All good there. If you want a big squat, go for it. Beautiful. Once again, not too many. We'll go for 8, 7, 6, 5 more, 4, yes, 3, 2, and oops, I gotta even my sides out, miscount. There we go. Awesome. Woo. All right, relax. One final balance and one final piece here. So this one, I'm gonna turn myself sideways once we actually I'll just do that this way. Okay, so we're gonna come into, probably gonna hit my TV, I'll turn diagonal. We're gonna come into warrior 3. So you're gonna choose one leg. Okay, you're gonna take that leg back. Maybe the toes touch down. You don't have to lift that leg very high. You're gonna hinge forward, just like we're in that tabletop position. Square your hips, reach your arms out in front of you if you can. Good, and now all we're gonna do is move elbows and knees together, just like we did before. So we're gonna curl in, we're gonna push away, but oh, you gotta keep your balance now.
Good, just 8. So 7 more on this side. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, push away. Exhale, both elbows in, tuck in and squeeze. Good, reaching through fingers, reaching through toes. Back is straight, body long. Nice. Almost there. I've got 2 to go. No need to rush. Sometimes the slower the better. Woo! And release. Awesome. Shake out that standing leg. That kind of feels it. All right, I'll just face you for this one. All right, so balance on that other leg. Again, we don't want to tip too much to the side, so square your hips up, tip forward, soft bend of your standing leg. Back leg does not have to be high, okay? I'm fairly flexible, so I'm able to. If your toes stay on the ground, that is totally cool. Reach out and breathe, stretch through your body. All right, again, you've got 8. Here we go. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, push away. You might find one side better and or worse than the other side. Good, squeeze. Feel those cables again on the feet and on the hands. Tuck, 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 tuck. Almost there. Breathe out. Breathe in. Good, last 2. Actually, I think that was 3, sorry. Now 2. Woo. And 1 more. Awesome. Go ahead and set down. Take both legs down. Shake them out if you need to. Take both arms. Reach up towards the ceiling. Open up. Little back bend if it feels good. Awesome. Go ahead and come down and have a seat. All right, we'll close our practice here today. So if you want your mat back out, a little cushion for your tushy, you can do that. Yes, I just said tushy. All right, you're gonna take your legs either bent or straight. Hands can be out to the sides or forward or even backwards, just somewhere where your shoulders feel comfortable. Okay, we'll start with bent knees. We did our bridges earlier. Now we're gonna open up and do our tabletops into what's called a can-can. So we're gonna take, I like my fingers forward, but that's just me. So you're gonna press it, lift those hips all the way up, stretch your chest, widen your collarbone, and then just sit back down. Simple. Push the feet down, squeeze the butt, open up the heart. Now the head is not dropping back, so eyes to ceiling, and just sit down. Okay, breathe in, and breathe out. Try one more like that, and then we're gonna try to lift one leg. Okay, so as you come up, push one toe forward. You get toe in the face there. And then the other toe forward and down. So pressing hips and toes. Good. If you want to go high with that leg, you can. So instead of going straight forward, you can go up. Okay, so this is what's our can-can. Okay, but you're squeezing your butt. You're still lifting those hips as high as you can. You're getting that energy out of your shoulders. So lift up through the collarbone, lift up through the chest by drawing the elbows in and shoulder blades back and down. Now, if you think you can, the next time that you do it, take one hand, reach up, touch opposite foot. Whoa, switch. Yes. Good. Try that again. Maybe you don't set your butt down. Maybe you just stay elevated. It's a stretch of those hammies, and it works almost like a bicycle movement. That little opposite arm to opposite hip. Okay, if you don't want to do the arms, you just stick with the legs. And if you don't want to even do the legs, you could sit your butt down and reach opposite hand to opposite foot. And so that way you get the core work in. Absolutely fine there. We're going for 10 more seconds. So whatever you can fit in those 10 seconds, do that. Beautiful, hold on. Good, in 4, 3, 2, and release. Beautiful. Let's get a little stretch in here. Soles of the feet together. That was awesome. All right, I trust it was awesome. I hope you did it. It's a good challenge. Again, just to work some dynamic balance, let's lift the chest, open the heart, press the thighs out. Breathe in, press the back of your heart forward as you curl in. Maybe use the elbows to press the knees open, and then once you're there, just go ahead and round through your spine. Oh, that feels so good. All right, let's get a nice stretch of our hips. So we're gonna take what's called I like to call a spiral. It's a 90-90. So you're gonna make foot to knee, kind of on a kitty corner angle. So right leg is in front, right hand just behind your hip at a comfortable distance, because you're going to push your hips up once again. And then you're going to take your left hand and take a big breath in, almost like you're trying to peel your shirt up over the top of you and reach back. But your eyes are going to look down. You're going to feel this amazing stretch all the way through the front of your body. Big wide reach through the shoulders. Press the hips forward to get a nice stretch through there. Good. Big breath in. And exhale, slowly sit back down. That's beautiful. Let's do that to the other side. So 90-90. So sitting up kind of like that kitty corner shape with your legs. Left leg in front, left hand just behind the hip at a comfortable pace. Feel free to adjust that hand wherever you need to. But first, lift those hips up. So hips pressing forward. Arm draws all the way up. Big breath in. Make it a little dramatic if you want to. Open that palm, eyes down. Breathe. Good. Pushing down firmly into that opposite hand. Maybe a little butt squeeze still to open the front of the pelvis. One more big inhale. And then exhale, slowly release. Beautiful. We'll finish with just a little spinal twist and our spine stretch forward. So you can sit up on a prop or a block or a blanket if you have a hard time kind of getting your hips back. Otherwise, just do what I do and just bend your knees. My hammies get very tight. All right, taking hands, crossing at your chest, lift up. Now we're not gonna move the head, so you can keep your head in neutral. But you're gonna take 2 breaths to the right and twist. And then 1 breath, exhale back to center. Other side. Inhale left, inhale again, exhale and return. So 2 breaths to twist, 1 to return. So inhale, inhale, exhale, and you grow taller every time you breathe in. Now, trick with this one is if your feet move or if your knees move, your hips are moving. We just want basically ribs to move, okay? So we did those spinal twists before, that rotational movement before from the hips. So now we just want it in the shoulders and in the chest. Inhale, lift up through the back of the neck. Let's see if you're gonna relax your jaw, relax the fingers. Just breathe. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Let's do 1 more to each side. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Last one to the other side. Inhale, inhale, and exhale. Hands relax. Actually, let's take those arms out. Big breath in, shoulders back. Inhale again, exhale, roll yourself down away from your wall. If you remember this from last week, it's our spine stretch forward. So you take a breath and then you roll back up. So you're pretending as if you're sitting up against a really straight, firm wall. And so you're just rolling down away from the wall and rolling back up that wall. So big breath in. So it starts from the top, curl the chin in, round through the upper back, peel the spine away from the wall, reach forward as far as you can, hollow out your back, and then coming back up, pushing that lower back into the wall, and then 1 vertebra up, all the way back to the top. Head is the last to rise. So nice. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, exhale as freely as you need. Surging energy through the fingers, through the heels. Using the lower abs to guide the movement taller. 1 more time. Deep breath in, round it out. Maybe you get to stretch a little further on this last one. So nice. Big breath in, slowly peeling your way back up. All the way to the top. Good. Take a couple little shoulder rolls. Let's find ourselves just in a comfortable seated position to finish out our dynamic core today. A little roll through the shoulders, maybe a little shift in your hips. All right. Hopefully you feel like you got kind of a well-rounded workout through the hips, thighs, shoulder girdle, and everything in the middle. That's where it should be. That's our core work. Everything that helps you balance, and including balance today, that's what we worked on. All right, let's take a big closing breath in, big stretch up, reach up nice and tall, and then exhale, just bring your hands right down to your heart. A little roll back through the shoulders once more. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Hope you feel good. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. If you want to catch up with the noon and 5:30 workouts today, feel free to do that. Otherwise, have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.